Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. We are coming at you again with a brand spanking new review for episode 33 of Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. Absolute insanity. We're already on episode 33. Another awesome episode. And more story and lore given not only on the brain persons, but just the Don family in general and lots of things. So, leading off from that last episode, I forgot that most of the team, other than Jiro, did not see Taro getting defeated by Sonoi. This one starts up with them like, I wonder where he's at, and there's no way he could be defeated by Sonoi, right? And blah blah blah. And she's like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. And we get a little scene where Jiro has Taro's body, and he's trying to keep him safe. Basically, he wants him to get back to full strength so he can fight him at full strength, which makes sense overall. I think that's an interesting route for his storyline, that he is somewhat honorable too. Yeah, he wants to fight Taro and usurp him, but he wants to do it the right way. I think is really good. So yeah, I really like that, and I like that Jiro is technically the real base personality, like Feral Jiro, and that normal Jiro we've been seeing, throughout the series is a byproduct of that, a byproduct of actually of friends he's made that created that personality. But yeah, so he's protecting Taro, and in comes Don Murasame, whose Okoza mother tells him to defeat Don Taro to finish him off, because he has a very small, very faint pulse right now. He's nearly dead. And we get a really badass and well choreographed fight scene between Jiro and Don Murasame. It's really cool, and it's kind of sad to see because they were starting to kind of bro out last time, so I'm wondering if they're going to do something with that. I wonder if we're going to do something where there's going to be an actual physical form, not out of the suit for Don Murasame, or if it's going to be just staying Don Murasame the rest of the show. But anyway, he escapes finally. He tries to do an attack, one of his shark attacks to Jiro, and he uses the lightning tiger strike thing, and basically defeats Murasame. And escapes with the body. Brings it back to Donboro Cafe and tells Master Kaito, hey, is there any way that you can help him? He really needs it. What can we do? And so Kaito brings him into this surgery bay that he has, a surgery theater that out of nowhere. He says, oh, Donboro Cafe is quite well stocked. I love that little line that he says all the time. Well, it's actually quite well stocked. He starts doing surgery. And while this is happening, they get a message. Each one of the DonBrothers has the goggles come onto their face, the little AR goggle things, glasses. And they get a message from Sonoi. It's really cool because it's in the background behind him is the colors of each of their goggles watching him. It's kind of cool. Basically telling them that, because he has a discussion with the brain persons. He calls them his companions. And he ends up fighting them and kind of kicking their ass. And yeah, sure, we'll be your companions, whatever. But first they're we're not your fellow companions. We're not your companions. We're your fellow brain persons. They're on the same level as him. But he kicks their ass, so they're no, it's okay, we'll be your companions. Anyway, so the message, he's I've defeated your leader, so now the rest of you guys, by default, are my team. We'll discuss the terms at your chosen place and time. You let me know. And so he ends up coming with the brain persons to Donboro Cafe. And they end up talking about everything. And that, he deserves leadership and blah, blah, blah. That, he defeated their leaders. And now by, by right, he is their leader. And they don't like it at all. They hate the idea. But they go, hey, let's set up a few, challenges and stuff. If you guys can beat us in these challenges, then sure, we'll be your companion, blah, blah, blah. Because again, it'll be a challenge to see if you can really be a true Cerebron. And so they do it's a montage of a bunch of goofy little challenges. They do who can be silent the longest game. They all fail at it. They do an eating contest. One where they have to it's really weird. He someone flicks a bean at Sonoza, and he catches it in his mouth. And so what's his name has to do it too? Shinichi, a Sour brother, has to do it too. She does it, but he notices that Sonoi is using his powers, so he transforms into Sour Brother and opens the mouth on the helmet of Sour Brother and gets the bean. I don't understand. This show is such a clusterfuck. It's such a wild fever dream of a show, but god damn it, I love it. Anyway, so they're not successful. The last challenge they do is he's going to unlock all their desires, and if they can resist turning into Totsuoki, then they can officially be part of their team or whatever. And they're like, what? That's garbage, blah, 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 and like, you know, that's not fair, and whatever, and he's like, it doesn't matter, and like, you know, denies them. So he tries it, and of course, all three of them turn into a Totsuoki, like a Sun Vulcan one, I think. Especially funny because Tsuyoshi does again. This is like the third time or something like that. And so the other two turn back to normal. Tsuyoshi stays as one. And while this is happening, when they're having the eating contest, Master Kaito had come up and siphoned off some of each of their energies into his Geertlinger and input it into these like jars. So he's basically taking a bit of the like power from each one of them and giving it to Taro to heal him. And that's what not only brings him back to life, but also is creating the gimmick power-up thing, the Omakoshi Phoenix. We'll get there in a minute. So they're all, you know, squabbling and everything and mad about, you know, Tsuyoshi becoming a Totsuoki, and in comes Taro. And so he's like, what, you're alive? He goes, yes, I have no bonds with heaven or hell, therefore I cannot die. I will rise like the Phoenix. I really like that line. It was goofy and stupid and dumb, but also kind of badass. Like, yeah, death can't hold me. Death didn't mean nothing to me, bro. I'm not dead. Yeah, so he's back. Before that, though, we get a fun little lore drop. They say, like, with one of the games they do, like, well, if we win, I want to ask a question. He goes, you've got one question. He's like, all right. Well, the question will be, he's like, and he wins. And it's like, all right, what's the question? Where do our powers come from? He's like, because he says, you know, I've always wondered this, so there's really not a better time than now, I suppose, to ask it. Where do our powers come from? And Sonoe basically tells him, once they win the one little game they do, that their powers are a result of experimentation. That apparently they're of Cerebran origin, and they were created by like the DonBrothers basically, and that they awakened at the same time, you know, for them to take over or whatever, at the same time that Taro did. Which I don't know 100% if I believe, because we've seen that there's been other users of the DonBrothers powers. So I don't know if Taro's been the only Don Momotaro, or if he has. Like, if you just mean, I'm not sure what he means by that, because there's been other users, so that mean that, like, Taro has repeatedly awakened a bunch of times. But anyway, so Taro, going back to, like, where we're at in the episode farther in, Taro is fine, you know, he's alive, blah, 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 and he's pissed at Tsuyoshi, he chases him out of there, and they go to the, you know, the Rock Quarry of Destiny, like you do. And he fights off some, along with Saru brother and Oni's sister, fights off some of the Anoni, and then uses the gimmick item, right? The Omakoshi Phoenix. Real quick little side note. We do see Inu brother this time find Natsumi/Miho, see that she's a hairdresser. He like follows her where she walks by, because she walks by the same place every day to get to work. And he gets his hair cut by her. And he's like, I gotta find some way to talk to her, to convince her, and like tell her who I am, and, you know, hope he understands, and blah blah blah, and figure this whole thing out. That's leading in the next episode, and we'll get there. So, Inu brother really isn't part of the episode at all, other than that part. But anyway, so they're fighting. Inu brother, or sorry, Saru brother, Oni's sister, and Don Momotaro. Don Momotaro goes, whistles, and calls the Omakoshi Phoenix. Uses it attaches to the Don Blaster, and we get Gold Don Momotaro, and it is a badass suit. It's got an awesome, long, flowing golden red cape. The helmet gets changed up, gets some armor added to it. There's like a big chest piece. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And I really enjoy it overall. It's a really, really cool form. The fight sequence with it is so good. He is just blasting people away and having a blast doing it, honestly. He's just at like the height of his Matsurina energy, you know, chaotic energy. And so ends up defeating all the Anoni, and ends up turning Tsuyoshi back into a human, because he defeats him as a Totsuoki. And he uses the one little peach thing that he did in the Zenkaiju episode, you know, where he came through and helped them, you know, when Kaito accidentally summoned him with the gear, where he's like that, and does a little, like, you know, peach symbol thing. So yeah, he defeats Tsuyoshi, brings it back to normal, and of course Tsuyoshi like, I'm so sorry, Momotaro, I'm so sorry, Mr. Taro. And that leads into next week's episode. is Inu Brother and Kichi Brother focused entirely. So it's their confrontation finally. He actually goes to Natsumi. You see him hugging her, talking to her, and Kichi Brother seeing it as well and being really upset. So I'm really worried what's going to happen here. I'm hoping there's some situation where the, Juto version of her can stay with Tsuyoshi, and, the copy, and then the original, just Miho, can be with, Inu Brother, because I'm not sure Kichi Brother's going to want to stay on the team if he knows that, Inu Brother's going around, messing around with his girl. But yeah, so I'm a little worried about next week. It's going to be a bit of a mess. Do hope it's not another misdirect like last week's episode where we thought it was going to all come to a head. But yeah, so but episode 33 was really, really well done. I love how they brought Sonoi back using the energies of not only the DonBrothers, but also the Sarah Brown. So it's like a combined power-up that combines all of their fighting ability together. I like that a lot. The debut fight was really good for Goldan Momotaro. I really like the Omokoshi Phoenix, its design. We also are getting Goldan Oni Taijin next week, which is like one of the ultimate Robo combinations, so that'll be really cool. Yeah, so overall, a really fantastic episode. If I had to score it, probably give it like somewhere around like a 9, maybe a 9.5 out of 10, honestly. I really, really enjoyed it. I think that overall, it did a really good job of, having a believable way, in whatever way makes sense in Sentai, to have Taro come back. And I love the interactions between Sonoi and the Cerebrons, now his companions, and his interactions with the DonBrothers. And there seems to be more of it coming next week, too. There's more of them in, like, random normal civilian clothes and stuff like that. So I do feel like they'll eventually make the Cerebrons into, like, full team members. I don't know if they'll have a different form they'll take on, but that they'll eventually just straight join the team to go up against whatever evil ends up being the final evil in the show. I don't know. But yeah, another really, really good episode. As far as content this week, like I said in the other review, if you watched at this point, my Geats episode 7 review. As far as content, we got Geats episode 7, and also I recently got my super complete selection animation Digimon Tamers D-Arc. The Digivice from Digimon Tamers came. I originally ordered the the Takato Red version, and I got the Rika Blue for some reason. I don't know how it happened, just a mix up. But I already talked to Collectibles, everything's good. And they sent back, I sent that back out to them. Return label, they sent back to me the right one, so we're all good now. But I'm going to do a Tokyo Toy view of that, kind of showing off the features, the sounds it makes, the little screen on it, and what that looks like, with Digivolution and, Digimodify and scanning the cards and all that. So yeah, that's about most of it for content this week. Not sure exactly what we're doing for our topic on Henshin's Homies, the podcast this Friday. I'm hoping that Ballin will get back to me and will be able to join us for an episode about Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, but I don't know for sure. If not, we'll figure something out topic-wise, something fun to do. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, commenting, subscribing. I really appreciate it right now. I really, really do. I just hit 500 followers on Twitter, so find me on Twitter at RioSoulRiderRed or Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. Yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this week's episode. Love it, hate it, in the middle, whatever. But anyway, until next time, stay hooked on them heroes. I'll talk to you later. Bye, 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 bye.